Good morning and welcome to another episode of Iconic Freedom, the formula. We are setting a standard for accountability, the ownership of your choices, and responsibility, that ability to respond to those choices. Let each care for self and all will be cared for.
If most marriages end in failure, why do we still sign up for forever? Forever! What else do you sign up for? You rent a car for the weekend. Even a mortgage on a house, it eventually ends. So why not a 10-year marriage? Hear me out. If it's going well, you can extend it. But if it's not, you shake hands, you walk away. Just imagine people on their 8th anniversary. Happy anniversary, baby. Only 2 years left. That's joy.
That is such a great clip. I just kind of found on that clip this week. I just kind of happened upon it, but I think it's hilarious. Okay, but the guy is really talking about a genuine reality, which is all relationships end. And, you know, if people need to get into a contract with a relationship like that, then they probably are in the wrong relationship, right? So, but, I mean, he makes a funny joke about the idea of that understanding that, listen, at some point, this may go sideways. And if that's the case, just know, hey, you're only in it for 2 more years. I think that's pretty funny. Now, on a more serious note, so previously when I talked about business and you following your instincts and really understanding people that you meet, especially like for a relationship, right? I mean, friends, same thing, but, you know, also for relationships is that, you know, use your internal authority. Pay attention to the signs, whatever you want to call it, the indicators to you that are letting you know whether or not this person would be a good fit. And I will tell you, this is not something that's going to happen over a cup of coffee. That might ignite something, but if you all of a sudden, you know, feel flush and you're attracted and woo-woo and all that stuff, trust me, that is logic leaving your body. And it is just becoming hormonal, and that is all it is. No good can come from that. Short term, if that's what you're looking for, okay, fine. Anybody can hook up. I was telling a friend the other day that, listen, do you know why you pay a hooker? To leave. It's an old joke, but it's true. It's just like, you know, if you're just looking for sex, that's a different thing, right? That's a whole different ballgame that you're managing in your world. But if you're looking for a relationship, you want to start paying attention to those indicators. And what are the standards that you want to have for your own relationship, for yourself, and that you would be looking, for in a partner? This next clip I think is hilarious. My friend Dan sent this to me, and as soon as he did, I just thought, you know what? This is so true. I love this guy's style, and I love the rapid fire of it.
Single people, if you're dating somebody, you need to ask 1,000 questions during the dating process. You don't need to be sitting up there talking about, well, I go to church and I talk in tongues, and a big plus is I'm a member of World Change. Oh, praise the Lord, I done found my husband. You might have found the devil. Now, hold up a minute, girl. You need to ask some questions. Y'all need to sit down and go on a whole lot of dates. What's your name? Is that your real name? Do you have your daddy's name? When can I meet your daddy? Is your dad and mama together? How do you act when you get mad? Do you throw things? Do you cuss around? Do you beat up on people? I need to know, do you have a job? Where do you work at? How much money do you make? How long you been working there? Do you have a bank account? How is your credit? Can I see your credit score? Do you have a house? Or you live in an apartment? Do you pay for your gas in your car? Do you live with your mama and them? I need to understand what you're doing, what you like to eat. Do you plan on being fine like that all your life? Or you plan on getting big? How many children do you want to have? Will you get upset if we don't have no kids? You plan on having an inheritance? Do you have insurance? Can you pay for your funeral if you were to die today?
I think that is a really great clip, actually. It's really, I mean, it's very funny, but he makes a really great point, much like the comedian did in the first clip, right? Is what do you know about these people? It's just so easy. And I'm going to tell you, we are brainwashed in our society, and we have been for a very long time. We watch movies, we read books, we see TV shows, all of this shenanigans of, love at first sight. Listen, you know this by now, listening to this podcast. That's a bunch of BS. There is no such thing. That, again, it's logic leaving your body, and you're just reacting hormonally. And, it's like, your testosterone, your progesterone, all that stuff is going, on both sides. And, people are engaging. Now, again, I'm not saying to do that, don't do that. But what is it that you want in your life? What are the qualities that you want to have in your life? Because that's one of the things that you have to look at for yourself, is that individual endeavor, that path, and all the choices that have to do with reaching whatever it is, joy, basically, your self-interest, right, along that path. And you'll start to discover things when you start making choices. Things, I've used this term before, that things open up. But really what I want to say is that as you make choices, your endeavors in whatever that pursuit is, it will reveal whatever the path is. It will afford you a multitude of choices that you can make. The thing that I really hope I get across in these podcasts is that you're making the connection between the life that you're living and the choices that you've made. Because what happens quite often is people really only look at the large choices that they make in life, and those are the ones that impact them. No, it's actually every single choice you make. When you get up in the morning, from the right side of the bed or the left side of the bed, deciding how you're going to manage your day, what you're doing as you walk out to the kitchen. Do you get a cup of coffee? Do you get a cup of tea? Do you just get some water? Are you getting ready to go to the gym? Or, are you getting ready to go for a run? All of these things are choices that you're making, and everything that you do along the path of those choices towards that endeavor, whatever it is, those things count. They're not things that you can just, whimsically or flippantly just toss aside. Because think of it as money, that if you were wanting to save money for something, you would pay attention to all the choices of everything that you're doing and where you're spending your dollars, so that, say you want to put a little nest egg away for maybe some sort of a trip or a vacation. Okay, so then you start paying attention to every dollar that you're spending. Well, think of the time in your life, the minutes, the seconds of your life as money. Because in reality, that's what it is. And where are you putting those dollars? Because that matters. So this piece of it, I hope that I'm bringing some clarity to the idea that when you decide that you want to start endeavoring a relationship, that how you endeavor that relationship will matter if you have not really developed that internal authority, that understanding that you own all the choices that you make, and that you make that connection of accountability and responsibility. It's very fascinating, right? If you start watching television and you watch the news and all these other things, when people get on there and, they start talking about, I can't afford my school loan. Well, then why did you take out the school loan? And then they'll sit there and go, well, I've got a couple of kids and a car. Okay, but why did you have kids then? If you can't afford these things, why are you putting your resources towards things that you can't afford? That's all well and good. Have kids. It's lovely. Get married if that's what you want to do, is get married. But the problem is if you're not prepared, if you don't have ability to respond, then who are you laying this burden on? Because all debts are paid, right? No matter what. Who's going to pay it? Either you pay it or the person that lent you the money or gave you the loan or whatever, they're going to pay it. And if there's no forgiveness, so if somebody says, oh, well, we've forgiven the loan, great. It's off the backs of other people where that loan is going to be paid because why? Because all debts are paid. Okay, so moving on to this last clip. Okay, I really like this because when we start talking about an internal authority and paying attention to your choices and what you want your life to look like with those choices, I thought this clip was really fascinating and actually a lot of fun. People will say, there's one part of it where it says, he's got a conscience. I don't think it's about having a conscience. I think it's about your integrity and character and understanding that you're accountable, that you have to take ownership of the choices that you make, and you're responsible for those choices. Because why? Because there's a debt to be paid. Who's going to pay the debt? You or somebody else?
If you don't believe in heaven and hell and all that, why don't you just go around raping and murdering as much as you want?
I do.
What?
I do go around raping and murdering as much as I want, which is not at all.
Because he's got a conscience.
But if death is just the end, what's the point?
What's the point in what?
Living. Might as well just kill yourself.
So if you're watching a movie and you're really enjoying it,
Yeah.
and someone points out that this will end eventually, do you just go, oh, forget it then, what's the point, and just turn it off?
No, because I can watch it again.
Well, I think life is precious because you can't watch it again. I mean, you can believe in an afterlife if that makes you feel better. Doesn't mean it's true. But once you realise you're not going to be around forever, I think that's what makes life so magical. One day you'll eat your last meal, smell your last flower, hug your friend for the very last time. You might not know it's the last time. So that's why you should do everything you love with passion, Treasure the few years you've got because that's all there is.
I really like this message, and I think one of the reasons why is because it's the epiphany that I had for myself when I came to understand that all relationships end. And we live in a finite universe, so everything is going to end eventually. But if you have the understanding that all relationships end eventually, then what he's saying in this clip is you start to see the moments that you place in this life as very precious. And think of it again as money. Where are you putting your money? The money, your resources of your time. And what's amazing about time, you can make more money, but you can't get back time. And if you look at your time as even more precious than the money, imagine what that will do for you when it opens up, when you start to endeavor, when you take responsibility, when you take accountability for your choices, and you start to see a whole different world open up for you. Because you're realizing, look, this is all going to end at some point. And boy, the people around me that I really care about, I want to enjoy the moments with them because that's all I've got is this moment in time. And it can change. People are crazy, right? They strap bombs onto themselves. They do weird things, they shoot people up. They do all kinds of weird stuff. It can end in an instant. People can say goodbye to each other in the morning and you never know if they're going to walk through that door. So you got to be okay with, hey, this is my relationship. This is our interaction in this moment of time, and to truly embrace it and really enjoy it. Not just, be flippant about it. Again, just be flippant or whimsical about it. To really enjoy it. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that you've lost your parents or some loved ones, and you just think, I'd give anything just to have a little bit more time with them. Why? Because time is the most precious commodity that you have, and it is within your power to decide where you place those moments. And I say, treat that commodity with the preciousness that it actually is, and place your moments accordingly. And as you start taking inventory of your own life, you'll start to realize, you know what? That person doesn't really enrich my life. I should kind of move away from that relationship. And slowly over time, if that's the endeavor you want, that's the path that you will take. And we are at the end of another podcast. Thank you for joining me this weekend. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you would. If you want to subscribe, that link is down below. Check out the link to my book. If you're interested, that book is published through lulu.com, and the link is down below. Share this with your family and friends. You never know how it might help one of them. And if you want me to cover any of the subjects that are in the book or something that's come up during your week, jet me a comment or shoot me an email. And I will see you next week. Have a great week.